In this video, we will look at solving absolute value equations. Our absolute value is the distance on a number line between a number and 0. It's always either a positive value or 0, and it can never be negative. So regardless of whether my frog is jumping 3 spaces to the left or 3 spaces to the right, he still jumped 3 spaces. Therefore, the absolute value of -3 is 3, and the absolute value of 3 is also 3. So let's take a look at solving these equations. Remember, they're an equation because there's an equal sign. So we want to think, what has an absolute value of 5? Well, that would mean 5 or -5. You can also write this as x would equal plus or minus 5, which just means that x could be 5 or -5. Now let's look at the next example. What has an absolute value of -2? Well, when we take the absolute value of a number, it's either positive or 0. So this is impossible. So we would say that this has no solution. Let's look at this next one. The first thing I want to do is look inside and think, what has an absolute value of 10? Well, either 10 or -10. So I'm going to rewrite my equation as x minus 7 equals 10, or x minus 7 equals -10. Be careful. Sometimes students think they have to take the absolute value of -7. That's not what you're doing here. You're thinking, what has an absolute value of 10? Either 10 or -10. So I'm setting two separate equations, one equal to 10, one equal to -10. Now I can go ahead and solve both equations for x. And there are my two possible answers. Those would both make that equation true. Now for the next one, the 5 is on the outside of the absolute value. So first thing I want to do is undo the multiplication of 5 by dividing both sides by 5. Now I have the absolute value of x is 7. So x could be 7 or -7. Or I could also write that as x is equal to plus or minus 7. Use what you know about solving absolute value equations to tackle these two equations.